If you have any doubts about the reality of evil spirits, demons, or the scary idea of possession, this video might change your mind. There are many stories and writings in religion about people who have been possessed by evil supernatural entities and had their bodies taken over by them. It is hard to believe that a demon could completely take over a person's body because these ideas may seem like scarily unrealistic bits of a terrible mind. Priests and exorcists now have physical proof of things that have been talked about for hundreds of years, thanks to progress in technology. Come with us as we explore the fascinating world of the 10 most chilling video clips of possession. Number 10. The Muslim Jinn. It is said that demons, evil spirits, and jinns can enter bodies to do bad things. But the story of an Indonesian woman is also very scary. This video shows the exorcism of a Muslim woman who is being possessed by a devil. The evil spirit inside the woman fights against the religious leader, called the Sheikh, but won't say its name or what it wants to do. But because the Sheikh is always looking at them, the jinn reluctantly tells them that the woman's body's previous owner, Idris, has left, leaving behind a scary secret. The body is now controlled by a jinn named Izul. The Sheikh asks the spirit what its real goal is, and the deeply troubled woman has a tense conversation with him until she finally tells him Izul's terrifying goal. It becomes clear that the jinn has a bad intention. It wants to have complete power over the woman's body, supposedly to keep her safe. In reaction, the religious leader starts reading from the Quran, which starts a spiritual battle against the evil force's control. The jinn feels like it is in greater danger of dying as the reading of the Quran, which is the holy book for Muslims, gets louder. Wanting to stay in the woman's body forever, the evil spirit strongly opposes the exorcism because it wants to hold on to its new carrier. There is no changing the Sheikh's belief that divine security covers everything. However, this statement only makes the jinn more restless and angry. In a shocking turn of events, the woman says, on behalf of the malevolent spirit, that the jinn wants to be friends and be left alone. As a result, the Sheikh and the other people in the room chant more deeply from the holy book, which causes the jinn a lot of pain and difficulty. In a surprising change of events, the Sheikh decides to negotiate instead of expelling the people by force. He uses Islamic principles to tell the jinn that God does not allow beings to be harmed by each other, since both the host spirit and the jinn are Muslims. The Sheikh tells the jinn that it can find company somewhere else without hurting anyone, and begs it not to cause any more trouble. He also explains how the woman's possession is making her life a living hell, appealing to the jinn's ability to feel and understand. It turns out that the evil spirit has been causing constant arguments between the woman and her husband, which shows that the possession is really hurting her relationships and health. Even though the jinn at first tried to stop them, the people who have gathered keep reading from the holy book. The jinn finally gives up and agrees to leave the woman's body. Before leaving, it bids its host a traditional Islamic goodbye, which marks the end of the difficult exorcism. Number 9. The case of Anneliese Michel. In fact, Anneliese Michel is a well-known person who has been the subject of 67 exorcisms. Originally from West Germany, this young girl had serious mental health problems such as psychosis caused by temporal lobe epilepsy. In their search for a cure, Anneliese and her folks worked hard at getting medical treatments. But because medical science and psychology at the time weren't very far along, Anneliese continued to go through a lot of pain. The tapes you're hearing now are the famous ones from Anneliese's exorcisms. After going through very bad bouts of sadness, she started hearing voices telling her she was going to hell and damnation. Even though Anneliese was very religious, she became less and less accepting of Christian places and things like churches and crucifixes. She was afraid that the demons inside her would hurt her if she did religious things. The tapes show that Anneliese's demons identified as well-known people from history and holy texts, such as Hitler, Nero, Cain, and Judas, who betrayed Jesus. In fact, the tapes are horrifying proof of Anneliese's pain. Sadly, she died of malnutrition and thirst because she had been in pain for so long. After she died, both her parents and the priests who did the exorcisms on her were blamed for not doing enough to protect her. Anneliese's story is still a sobering warning of how serious mental illness can be and how dangerous it is for religious zeal to go too far. Number 8. Exorcism of Gina. It was April 1991, and people were watching TV to either catch up on the latest news or enjoy some light entertainment. On the other hand, what happened on ABC's 20/20 Inches made them upset and shocked. This move caused a huge stir. The station showed the exorcism of Gina, a 16-year-old girl from Florida who was having a lot of problems with her mental health. Even though her Colombian immigrant mother tried therapy but failed, she turned to the church for comfort. There, a priest who was only known as Father A and the Reverend James Labar stepped forward to help the girl. One small catch, though: Gina's exorcism had to be shown live on TV. The church wanted the ceremony to get a lot of attention from the media because they thought that news could give hope to people who were going through similar problems. There were rumors that the church wanted to get people interested in exorcisms again because they thought that evil spirits were still out there. That which happened next became a TV segment that every live watcher will never forget. At the start of the exorcism, the priests carefully restrained Gina because they were afraid that the devils inside her could make her float. At this point, Gina started yelling unclear and scary threats at the priests. In fact, the girl often spoke with a scary voice about chaos and damage, saying things that she said would happen on Earth. Even though the environment was scary, the priests kept going with the exorcism, which made Gina talk about how her illness worked. It was she who told the priest that 10 evil spirits were controlling her body. 2 of them were named Zion and Minga. Calling on the demons by name over and over again only made Gina more angry and anxious, which made her possession worse. Even though things were getting harder, the priests didn't give up on their mission to fight the evil spirits. When there is a straight confrontation, one of the priests tells the demon, "You want pain? I am going to hurt you." Even though she is attached to the chair, Gina continues to strongly fight against the priest's efforts. The supernatural battle between good and evil consumes her whole being. The priests stay strong as they say the Roman Catholic exorcism process over and over again. Her face turns scary. The devils have been attacking for a long time, but the exorcism is finally over, and Gina is freed from her chains. She seems a little calmer than before, but it's still not clear how much she has been freed from control. After that, it came out that Gina needed to go back to a mental hospital. Number 7. A woman gets possessed after hearing prayers. A young Muslim girl from the United Arab Emirates is working hard on her laptop in this video. At first, the scene seems normal. The bookshelf suggests that someone is studying hard. Things take a strange turn, though, when the girl gets nervous when she hears the adhan, which is the Muslim call to prayer. People are watching, but none of them know what's about to happen. All of a sudden, the girl gets up from her seat, and her face shows that she is confused and bewildered, as if she is trying to make sense of an unidentified feeling that is going through her body. Then, in a shocking turn of events, as she is leaving the room, a bad energy grabs her and knocks her out in an instant. While others in the room rush to help her because of the noise, it looks like the damage has already been done. It's as if the Muslim prayer had unintentionally directed the evil spirit to look for a host, which, based on signs, it did. Number 6. Demons gets cast out. Unfortunately, this girl was tormented by demons and other bad spirits until a good priest stepped in and drove them out of her body. But the process turned out to be a lot harder than expected. When the girl was faced with the power of God's word and the promise of Jesus' protection, the devil inside her retreated in pain, as shown by her screams and twists. In fact, the evil spirit shivers when the holy word is spoken because it knows it is about to leave the girl's body. In response, it causes the girl a lot of physical pain and anxiety, making the exorcist's already hard job even harder. With unwavering determination, the exorcist keeps fighting the demon, telling it about God's all-consuming power and how it's like a purifying fire that will eventually get rid of all evil in the world. The exorcist addresses the very unpleasant spirit that has taken over the young girl's body over and over again with his words. With each prayer, the devil feels the savage power of God, and in the end, it gives up its hold on the girl. The girl finally gets the monster to stop wreaking havoc on her after a long battle, which made her feel truly free from its pain. Number 5. Possessed young boy. Have you ever seen an item that was so scary that the whole community had to work together to get rid of it? This happened with a little boy whose father took him to the priest. After a long fight with the devils, the father probably turned to Hebrew exorcism as their last option. Do not be shocked or scared when what happens next happens. Starting from the beginning, it's clear that the rabbi can't fight the evil force by himself. He needs help from other people in the community to defeat the evil spirit that lives in the boy. By reading Psalm 91, they prepare for a terrifying fight against the forces of evil. The evil spirit inside the boy starts to feel how strong the spiritual attack is, which makes the boy shake with anxiety. The boy is clearly in a lot of pain, even though the demon is trying hard to fight off the holy chants. As he falls off the chair, the devil fights hard to keep his body under control. Even though the boy is physically tired, the rabbi and the community keep saying the holy words because they are determined to free the boy from the power of darkness. View as the evil spirit tortures its helpless host by forcing him to do painful twists and turns, like bending backwards and sticking out his tongue. So many upsetting actions make it look like the boy can't be saved. He is in terrible pain, but his family is holding on to hope and hoping very hard for the long-awaited miracle that will save him. As the rabbi and the community increase the speed of their readings, the boy starts to feel calm. Over time, his jittery actions stop, and so does his body. Eventually, the boy falls down and passes out from tiredness. This important moment marks the end of the demon's never-ending fight for power. Now that the exorcism is over, the boy slowly takes back control of his body and mind. His family softly holds him as they lead him back to a chair, giving him comfort and reassurance after what he has been through. The boy's family gathers around him after the exorcism and gives him water and comfort. As he sees his son return to his old self, both in look and behavior, his father is emotionally overwhelmed and starts to cry. Number 4. Gabriele Amorth's last exorcism. The Pope's exorcist made the top exorcist at the Vatican famous in a whole new way. As an exorcist for the Diocese of Rome, this famous master of demonology will always be known for the last exorcism he did before he died. Gabriel had done more than 100,000 exorcisms, and each one was scarier than the last. The horrible things that you are about to see are proof of what Amor had been through in his life. When the priest was asked about the case of Cristina, the Italian woman, he had no idea what a dark time he was in for. Priests and doctors tried to help, but the woman was stuck in a serious possession that wouldn't go away. It was well known that she would have rapid, crippling attacks, especially around holidays in honor of Jesus Christ. As the father started his rite, he did what he always does. He tried to get the demon to show itself. Gabriel used a method called mockery to get the devil to come out. A shocking turn of events happens when the monster inside Cristina finally admits that it is Satan. Even the father, who has been doing this for a long time, seems shocked by this news. Cristina's possession gets worse, making the seriousness of the problem even more clear. To be honest, the monster was very hard to get rid of, even for a professional exorcist. Realizing how serious the situation is, the father tells Cristina's family to hold her down. This gives him a chance to use his most powerful method to try to calm the demon. Gabriel Amor starts a new fight with Satan while holding his blessed oil. The appearance of the evil spirit doesn't stop him. It's clear that the bad spirit's main goal is to protect Cristina and won't let anyone touch her. Gabriel goes up to the evil being again, this time holding Cristina down tightly while he prays furiously. The demon was even more agitated when Cristina's boyfriend was around, but someone had to keep her in check. After Gabriel called on God's word, there was a long and hard fight between Satan's evil energy and Gabriel's. While Cristina is writhing in pain from the evil monster, Father Gabriel keeps praying. This method seems to work because it leads the affected woman quietly into a mental safe place in a church in her mind. The monster seems to be struggling inside her, which could mean that its hold is getting weaker. As Father Gabriel keeps praying, Cristina's agitation slowly goes away. In an amazing show, the woman starts to show signs of being freed from her demon by repeating the Father's words as if she were being led by an invisible force. There is a moment of great spiritual importance for everyone when the famous priest blesses Cristina's parents as he sees this change happen in real time. Number 3. Pope Francis performs exorcism. It may come as a surprise, but there was a time when Pope Francis did an exorcism in public, full of cameras watching. In St. Peter's Church, where the action took place, people were waiting in line to meet the Pope after Mass. Angel Fiv, a man who was confined to a wheelchair, was one of them. He probably couldn't walk because he was so badly possessed by a spirit. Ideally, he wanted to get a special blessing from the Pope. When Angel finally got to meet Pope Francis, Reverend Juan Rivas, who was with him, had a short chat with the Pope. It's still unknown what they said to each other, but Pope Francis felt moved to pray with both hands on Angel's hand. When you answer, Angel's mouth opens wide, as if he is in a lot of pain or suffering. It looks like the devils that were controlling the Mexican man got angry when they heard Pope Francis speak the word of God. Being a divine presence and authority figure like the Pope seemed to make the evil spirits react, showing how uncomfortable they were with spiritual conflict. Angel's meeting with Pope Francis did, in fact, lead to a lot of gossip and talk. Some thought it was a short exorcism by the Pope, but the official statement from the church made it clear that it was just a way to bless people by putting on their hands, not an exorcism. Still, what happened after Angel met with the Pope was nothing less than amazing. Even though the church made it clear, many people saw Angel's amazing change. He started walking again after being in a wheelchair for a long time. Some thought it was because of the Pope's prayer, while others thought it was because of the putting on of hands. Angel himself said that the meeting with the Pope hadn't fully cleared his mind of his problems. Reverend Juan Reva, who was with him, talked about a scary sound Angel made that sounded like a lion's roar. Even so, Pope Francis kept praying, showing that he was calm and determined, even when he was facing spiritual problems. It turned out that Angel had been exorcised many times before she met the Pope. These exorcisms were done by a number of exorcists, including Gabriel Amor, who is the Vatican's top demonologist. Even with all of these efforts, he still couldn't get rid of the demon's control. Number 2, TJ's terrifying possession. The mood in the room gets tense as Bobby tells his friends about a scary experience. He says that he heard strange and scary sounds coming from his friend TJ's room, which set the stage for a disturbing turn of events. The horrifying screams of Bobby's roommate TJ fill the air, making Bobby and his friends feel absolutely terrified. Their deepest fears are stirred up by the painful cries that sound nothing like human voices. Despite their fears, the growing volume of TJ's screams forces them to face the source of the noise. They steady themselves to open the door and face the terrifying scene happening in TJ's room, their hands shaking and hearts racing. Even though his friends are warning him not to, Bobby finds the strength to face the scary situation that is happening in TJ's room. Bobby tries to get into TJ's room, but is greeted by a series of animalistic screams that make him jump back in shock. Together with his friend Adam, they see TJ's concern and try to understand how serious the situation is. TJ's cries make his friends argue about whether or not to call the police because of how bad they sound. Even though everyone is clearly scared, Bobby, who seems like a trustworthy roommate, shows real concern for his friend. At this crucial juncture, they finally work up the courage to open the door and face the secret that's making TJ so upset. What happens in front of their eyes is shocking and heartbreaking, leaving a mark on their hearts and minds that will never go away. TJ lay twisted and in pain in a bathroom, and it was impossible to understand what was going on. It was like a monster was tightening its grip on him. The group stood frozen in shock as they heard their friends' screams of pain and tried to make sense of what was happening. They quickly called the police because they knew how bad the situation was and weren't sure if medical help alone could help TJ. In fact, what they were seeing went beyond what they could normally understand. TJ seemed to be nothing more than a vessel being controlled by forces that are beyond the reach of modern science. Bobby cautiously approached because he was worried about his friend. What he saw was a face twisted by pain and a cacophony of chilling screams. When the group realized what was happening, they ran away, and one of them quickly called for help. Bobby was shocked when he watched the video again later and saw that TJ was chanting a strange language during the chaos, which suggested that there was a deeper level of alien influence. The recording suddenly stopped as TJ fought to stand up and grabbed the bathroom wall desperately to stay steady. Even though Bobby asked for help by posting the video online, no one knew what happened to TJ, which made watchers nervous and eager for answers. As the video ended, there was a lingering feeling of dread that emphasized how scary it is that some riddles will never be solved. Number 1. A Ouija board gone wrong. A lot of the time, Ouija boards are right on the edge of being fun and potentially dangerous. The majority of people see them as harmless fun, but for some, they can cause scary or even nightmare-like experiences. Such was the case with Ethan and Cole, two close friends who planned to use the Ouija board and their friends as a simple, fun activity. Cole and Ethan set out to get a Ouija board so that they could get together with their friends, Eric and Brain, for a night of trying to talk to friendly ghosts. The movie that was uploaded to YouTube shows their trip as they drive to get the board before their hangout. In order to keep things safe and polite, the friends take some steps before starting their Ouija board practice. Before they start their work, they bathe the board in holy water as a ritual, hoping to keep away any evil souls that might be on it. Although the friends tried hard, at first, to protect themselves from bad forces, they quickly came to the disturbing realization that their efforts may not have been enough. They are not scared, so they get together with their friends in a dark room with only flickering candles to set the mood for their Ouija board session. But their first two tries to talk to the dead don't work. Even though they are trying very hard, the friends are not able to communicate with any ghosts. They're getting more and more frustrated because their tries aren't working, which leads to jokes and lighthearted speculation about how well Ouija boards work. The friends decide to give the Ouija board another chance, just as doubts start to appear about what they did before. To their surprise, the planchette starts to move on its own, which means a ghost has arrived. The group of friends waits with bated breath as the spirit says its name is Peace, marking the start of a moment of great importance and mystery. The group asks the spirit directly, does it want peace? They're both interested and scared at the same time. They are shocked when the planchette moves on its own again and lands firmly on the word no. The surprising answer makes everyone in the room feel uneasy, and the friends have to think about what the spirit's message means. After leaving its mysterious message, the spirit says goodbye to the group, and just as quickly as it came, the planchette stops moving. Even though the group had planned to move on from their magical experience, Braden's interest stays. Even though the others are hesitant, he keeps using the Ouija board, trying to get the spirit to talk to him again. Everyone else has told Braden to stop playing with the board, but he keeps doing it anyway. It all changes at once in a scary way when Braden breaks out in a fit of demonic laughing that makes his friends shiver. It's clear that something bad has taken control of their friend, putting them through a terrifying experience they weren't expecting. As chaos breaks out around them, the friends have to move quickly, leaving the camera behind to help restrain Braden, who is now screaming inhumane sounds. After the event, Ethan and Cole somberly tell everyone that Braden physically recovered, but the experience left him with deep scars and depression. It's a stark warning of how dangerous it can be to mess with forces you don't understand. It's a story that will stick with you long after the camera stops rolling. Thanks for coming along on this scary trip with us. Until next time,